Greetings all you maniacs and minds that are growing. Welcome back to another Warframe weapon showcase. Today we are going to be taking a look at another plain Jane weapon, the Braton Prime. Now, in my video on the Kuva Karak, I talked a little bit about the Braton Prime versus the Karak Wraith, and I said that the Braton Prime is better. I'd show a comparison between the Karak Wraith and Braton Prime, but I don't have my Karak Wraith anymore. I got rid of it. I literally didn't use it, and I had the Kuva Karak. Anyway, so this is the build. Now, alright, so there are the different ways you can build this weapon. I feel like this build right here with heat and corrosive works the best of the weapon. Now, you might be looking at those stats like, wow, this thing is super heavily weighted to slash a lot of status. Viral. No. No. This weapon does not have the base damage nor the crit chance to maximize viral. Also, for Forma, this thing comes with no polarities. It is an MR8 weapon, so it is kind of easy to get your hands on. But anyway, I would have liked to been able to do a viral build, but this thing needs either insane base damage. For a weapon to do viral, you need either nuts base damage or you need crit. This weapon doesn't really have both. If this thing had, I don't know, 60% crit after mods, then yeah, you could probably get away with a viral build, or if it had a higher crit multiplier. Now, you could probably do a slash build with bladed rounds and argon scope, maybe even hunter munitions in there somewhere, but I mean, who cares? Anyway, all that being said, heat corrosive works extremely well, and you're gonna see that this weapon, even though it's MR8, it's a bit of a little monster. It kind of just kills. Like, wait, do I have infinite quick reload? Thank God, no. Good. Also, this thing has a 2.2 second reload speed, and it's pretty ammo efficient, so this is an MR8 weapon, for fuck's sake. Look at this. And yeah, it lights enemies up like a Christmas tree with slash procs. So I know what you're thinking, but look at all those slashes. If viral build doesn't work, I will show you that it doesn't work. Anyway, look at this. That's more than respectable. Remember, it's an MR8 weapon. That is really respectable. So what am I talking about that a viral build won't work? Well, let's remove the heat and let's actually just put on viral. There we go. Now what am I going to put here? I'm actually going to put on more crit damage with hammer shot. This will also give me more status. Now, with a viral build, you want to make sure that the slash is higher than viral. It is. Impact, puncture, and slash. Multiply these by 4, and that's the proc value. That's how it works. So slash is actually in the 400s, which is double that of viral. So slash is going to be proccing more than often than not. But anyway, it has a lot of slash. Now it has viral, and it's going to be proccing status all the time. One mag. Will it bleed out? Nope. Now you could be saying, well, these are really, really high level enemies. That is not fair against the Braton, and I know. But people want to see, you know, every single weapon in the game be able to do a slash build. And I'm sorry, but not every single weapon is capable of doing it. It's just how it is. So, and trust me, the crit chance is too low for hunter munitions to ever do anything. And by the way, hunter munitions is not required, for fuck's sake. So I'm going to put back on the build that is better in my mind. And now we are going to shoot lower level enemies. Lower, like I'm talking level 80. And these are sort of normal-ish level enemies. And you're going to see that, well, yeah, it works very well. I don't even need to go for headshots, really. This weapon will strip armor, by the way. It will absolutely obliterate armor, as you see there. It just destroyed everyone. So it's, with this build, you are ripping armor away with the corrosive procs. The heat is basically having the enemy's health and doing damage over time. And then you have the slash that is doing even more damage over time. So if this weapon had way more base damage, way more, either if you have a Riven or if you put heavy caliber on this weapon, yeah, this thing is, it's pretty nasty. It's just, it's super plain. It really is. It's plain Jane. It's very basic, but just like the Karak Wraith, I mean, Kuva Karak, not the Karak Wraith, the Kuva Karak, it's plain, but it works. Anyway, now let's pull out Harrow, and let's give this thing crit. And when I mean crit, I mean big crit. Alright, so I'm also going to chain these guys up. And then this thing is going to turn and go really, really fast too. Melt, and then the reload speed is faster because Harrow. Yep. But I mean, this is a pretty extreme Warframe buff because Harrow. But I mean, just the rate of fire alone. Also, you see the value of heat. The little bit of crowd control, you basically stun lock the enemies and they can't do anything. Now, to build this thing against Corpus, you could do viral heat, and that will absolutely destroy Corpus. I think it's gonna die to the damage over time. Yep. Oh, not quite. Also, this thing with Ash is actually pretty interesting, because if you don't know, Ash's passive makes slash procs more potent. They last longer and they do more damage. So, anyway, the Braton Prime is a really, really good weapon. I don't see it very often, maybe because people just sort of ignore it. They're like, oh, it's just another Braton. There's the Braton, the Mark I Braton, the Braton Vandal, and the Braton Prime. Then we're gonna, it's basically the same thing with the Ceranos. There's the Ceranos, the Rakta Ceranos, the Mutilus Ceranos, and the Ceranos Prime. Anyway, you're like, oh, it's just like, oh, that MR8 dude's like first prime weapon, the baby's first prime. But if you build it like this, it will perform very, very admirably. Will it outdamage something like a Tenora? No, because the Tenora has crit. Is it going to outdamage something like the Super Vandal? No, because the Super Vandal has higher base damage and also a gigantic fucking magazine. But this weapon is absolutely fantastic, and I would really recommend it. So, Rivens. If you happen to get a Riven for this weapon, I don't know what the Riven suspicion is. I'm pretty sure it's pretty damn high, because I rarely ever see this. I see this once every in a blue moon. I would recommend going for crit chance over everything else, because when I would use this with my Ardosva Kavat, who I still have, by the way, from my older videos, you saw her, Valkyrie. Giving this thing 90% crit chance was a big boost, but it's the even bigger boost if Smeet over here, Blep, does the whole charm thing. So this will give it 200% crit chance and orange crits, everything orange crits, and then the Vigilante set stuff. So if you want to put 5 form into this thing, open this up, I would definitely recommend putting on Vigilante supplies, because that will give you crit ups Not that this thing needs any ammo at all. This thing has no ammo issues. You're not going to run out of ammo with the Braton Prime. You're just not. Because this thing has 75 round mags and the enemies drop 75 rifle ammo all the time. So there's that. Anyway, I really do enjoy this weapon. And I feel like, let's do a quick test of showing it with Ash's passive. So the slashes are going to be doing more damage and they're going to be lasting longer. So it's not that big of a boost, but it is definitely a boost. Look at this. So this weapon, with all other slash weapons, work very, very well with Ash. So, and also Ash has his one that can instantly rip armor away, and this weapon with heat and slash is going to destroy anything without armor, which I can do right here. So yeah. I'll do a better showcase of that once I actually do an Ash ins and outs. So there's that. None of the enemies dropped rifle ammo. I say how common it is, but none of them dropped it. It's okay though. So, all this being said, this is a plain Jane weapon. Plain. It's not like this crazy laser cannon or a weapon that makes multiple small singularities. It doesn't do any fancy like that. It doesn't shoot saw blades at Mach 5. But what it does is work. It's a workhorse weapon. It just works, and it will not really fail you. Now, I will say, going against really high level enemies with this weapon, it really is not meant for that. It's at its best at levels that you would see during like a disruption, say levels 80 to 90, level 100, somewhere around there. It will still destroy, and all that good stuff. This thing, like I said, to build this thing against Corpus, just put in heat viral or gas, and that will obliterate Corpus, because Toxin procs plus the slash, yeah, their health is going to disappear really quick. I'd be very curious to know if anyone out there watching this video has had their Braton Prime since they were able to get it at MR8, and say they've been playing for, I don't know, 2-3 years and they still have their original Braton Prime. I think that'd be kind of cool. It's just like, oh, reliable. Put it on a plaque. So, thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.